All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about flowers for Algernon. I want to talk specifically about one of the entries that you read today, and that is April 20th. Um, I also will include this, kind of copy it and put it into a Word document so you guys can see it, kind of read along if you want to. So if you got a minute, go ahead and pull that up at this time. April 20th is the one we're looking at. And basically, I'm just going to kind of read through here, and what we need to look for is kind of a deeper meaning to what Daniel Keyes, the author, has kind of put in here. So this this entry is written by Charlie, obviously, just like all of them are. But at this point, we have kind of an awakening. Charlie is becoming more aware of the things around him. He's becoming more privy to the different acts of society, the way people are treating him, and it's a very powerful entry that we see here. It basically says, I feel sick inside. Not sick like a doctor, but inside my chest it feels empty, like getting punched and a heartburn at the same time. I wasn't going to write about it, but I guess I got to because it's important. Today was the first time I ever stayed home from work. Last night Joe Carp and Frank Riley invited me to a party. There were lots of girls and some men from the factory. I remembered how sick I got last time I drank too much, so I told Joe I didn't want anything to drink. He gave me a plain Coke instead. It tasted funny, but I thought it was just a bad taste in my mouth. We had a lot of fun for a while. Joe said I could dance with Ellen and she would teach me the steps. I fell a few times and I couldn't understand why because no one else was dancing besides Ellen and me. And all the time I was tripping because somebody's foot was always sticking out. Then when I got up, I saw the look on Joe's face and it gave me a funny feeling in my stomach. He's a scream, one of the girls said. Everybody was laughing. Frank said, I ain't laughed so much since we sent him off for the newspaper that night at Muggsy's and ditched him. I looked at him. His face is red. He's blushing. Charlie's blushing. Hey, Ellen, what do you do to Charlie? I never saw him act like that before. I didn't know what to do or where to turn. Everyone was looking at me and laughing, and I felt naked. I wanted to hide myself. I ran out in the streets and I threw up. Then I walked home. It's a funny thing. I never knew that Joe and Frank and the others liked to have me around all the time just to make fun of me. Now I know what it means when they say to pull a Charlie Gordon. I'm ashamed. Okay, to me this is probably one of the most powerful insights in the book because Charlie is starting to see where he is in society and the fact that all these people have made fun of him for so long without him knowing it. And he's smart enough now at this time to kind of realize it. So this is a great, this is one of those passages you can just kind of dwell on and think and relate your own life to. So we talked about this before, just basically about connections. And what I want to do is kind of relate this to your own life. Now, there are two sides to this. The first thing, obviously, to think about, and the one we probably sympathize with most because the point of view is Charlie's. So put yourself in Charlie's shoes. Go ahead and take out a piece of paper, or you can type it on your computer since you guys are probably working on that right now. But I'm going to write this out just so you guys have what the assignment is. It says put yourself in Charlie's shoes as soon as I get it written out here. And of course, shoes being figurative here, we're not literally putting ourselves in his shoes. But think about what he's saying here. Has there ever been a time where you were in a position where people were making fun of you and you just didn't realize it? Or you found out you were the butt of a joke and you just kind of had that sick feeling in the pit of your stomach? Those emotions are very strong for all of us, and we all have this desire to fit in and, things like this. But kind of write about that if you can. Think about that for a few minutes and write about a time where you might have been, made fun of or outcast or something like that, and you just didn't realize, or maybe you did understand, and that's why you got that feeling. But these connections, the ability to connect this to a real life, are going to be what help us remember and understand the story a little bit better. This can kind of go on to a deeper meaning. They say naivety is bliss, and that means the things you don't know, the fact that you don't know them makes you not really feel them, not really understand the hurtful things in life. And so, if you're so inclined, you can go ahead and write about that as well. Think about that concept. Is there certain things that you know now that you wish you didn't know? One of them for many people is knowing that Santa Claus isn't real, let's say. When you find that out, you might kind of feel hurt and upset, and then you kind of just want that fairy tale back. You want to be naive to it. You want to understand that there's this great guy out there. The next thing we'll take a look at is the separate perspective, the idea that you might have been in this position where you made fun of somebody before. So, it's something I think that all people kind of go through, is this learning experience. But, maybe the guys have feelings as well. Maybe they start feeling upset about this. So I want you guys to think, secondly, about a time when you made a bad decision. Go ahead and just kind of write about this after you think about but what was a time where you made one of those bad decisions, where you did something you regret that hurt somebody else? And, maybe at this point these guys don't know. They think, hey, Charlie thinks he's funny, he's laughing along with us. But, later on we understand that Charlie now has feelings, and he can, understand. He's got the mental capacity to understand what's going on. So they're hurting Charlie. They're hurting him on an emotional level. So I kind of want you to think about these two things. Just take out a piece of paper. This can be very informal. Or, like I say, do it on your computer. It's something you can print out and bring to class. But tomorrow I want you guys to bring these two ideas with you, these two connections. When were you in these situations? How did you feel? How does it change your life? How can you relate to the story by thinking about these two? Okay, give you guys some time to work on that. You might want to reread this. You might want to listen to me read it again. But just kind of reflect on this one thing. Take 15, 20 minutes and think about what the meaning of this is, and how you can relate to it, because it's a very powerful and very important passage in this book. All right, we'll talk about this tomorrow, guys. Have a good day.